Sims, let's go.
Hello everyone, it's your girl Miracle Sims and you're watching the GSL Talk Show. Tonight we're going to be chatting with Pastor Eric Nartey, so stay tuned.
It's a miracle, baby. Shout to Miracle Sims, let's go. Yeah, it's a miracle, baby. Shout to Miracle Sims.
But I'm not the type of girl that goes.
Yeah, it's a miracle, baby. Shout
You wishing I would have a one night affair.
Welcome back to the GSL Talk Show. As you all can see, I'm here with Pastor Eric Nartey. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good. How are you today?
I'm good. I can't complain. Glad to have you here. Welcome to the GSL Talk Show.
Yes, I'm super excited to be here.
Awesome. Can you tell me where you're from and a little bit about yourself?
All right, my name is Eric Nartey. I'm excited to join from Ghana. That is the west of Africa. So I live in the city of Accra, Ghana. So I work as the lead servant for the Watchmen Charismatic Network. Watchmen Charismatic Network, which is a global network of Christians around the globe. So we have only two purposes: to transform lives and to advance the kingdom of God. So that's about the network. And then I also work as the co-founder for the Leaders to Leaders LLC, which also is a hub to build the next generation, the next transformative leader in Africa.
Wow. Look, we're all the way in Ghana this time, y'all. Hey. I had a friend of mine that went to go live over there. I think they're back now and, doing some work here and whatnot. But I mean, I would love to go and travel all these amazing different places. How is it being there? Have you been to the States?
No, I've not been to the
Okay.
States yet.
Okay. I was going to ask you, in comparison, but I guess you don't have the comparison yet. Neither do I. So tell us how it is living in Ghana and things of that nature. Because I know people, they'll post all these videos and, I guess we're so limited to, not actually being there. So as someone that is actually there, what should we expect in Ghana?
Ghana is incredible, Ghana is incredible. Just last month, we had our Kingdom Builders and Leaders Conference. We trained over 100 leaders under the Leaders to Leaders and the Watchmen Charismatic Network. We had some of the speakers from India, from Bahamas, and from Florida, USA. And then we had an incredible time, Ghana, we had an incredible time. So through the conference, I want to use that one to just answer this. We were able to go to the museum of the Ghana's first president, who is Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, and he is one of the greatest Pan-Africanists who helped Ghana to gain independence, in 1957. In 1957, and he was very close to Martin Luther King Jr. and some other great guys during that time. So Ghana is well known for culture, rich in culture, and hospitable people. We have some amazing places here too. We're able to also go to the Cape Coast Slave Castle, which is an emotional moment. But we were able to see the door of no return, where way back over so many years ago during the transatlantic slave trade, where the slaves were passed through to go to America, the Caribbeans, and other part of Europe, and then we saw Obama's monument. President Obama had been there several times, and we saw a lot of work that's going on in the castle and the year of the return. I think currently we are over 5,000 Americans have Ghanaian citizenship now due to the project of the year of the return. So a lot of Americans, Caribbeans, and African Americans are coming back to their roots, to connect to their motherland. And so Ghana is very interesting and it's very reserved for historical events and a whole lot of great things going on here as well.
Awesome. Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, it sounds amazing. And like I said, one of these days, hopefully, I'll be able to cross paths on your side and things of that nature. And who knows, maybe we get to meet in person and stuff. Um, as you were talking, I just couldn't help but think about the phrases that you hear these days. And I'm very curious, like your opinion about this. And if you don't, and if it's too controversial, feel free, you don't have to answer whatever. But if not, I would love to hear your opinion. People talk about Christianity being the colonizers' religion and things of that nature. And clearly, we see you, and it seems like you are bursting with joy to tell us about, the amazing things that God is doing there. So, what is your opinion of this? And I mean, I get the perspectives and stuff, but at the same time, for me, I've always been confused. Not why we think this way, but like, why don't we think more? And for me, I don't receive that because my understanding is Israel and all these places are very much closer to you than it is me, and I'm not saying that no other different type of people could live there, but I'm just saying, seems to me, you people in Ghana and places like that would have had access to the gospel before me. You know what I mean? Obviously, yes, because of years, but because of location, and so to think like, oh, you only got this because of colonization or whatever the case may be. I just feel like that's a because I mean, you hear about Egypt and you hear about all these places that were, I guess, rich in the Christian culture and things of that nature. Even the Bible talks about different people that are referenced to be African or whatever the case may be. And so I just I don't know. I'm just wondering, like, what do you think about this
What do
this
I think?
narrative that is being pushed, and as somebody that's actually there, witnessing whatever what you
Okay,
see the Lord doing. What do you
okay, it's a great question. So, you know, so my background, I'm a pastor, I'm also a theologian, you know, I'm also a theologian. So as a theologian, I don't really see Christianity to be a white man's religion. Okay, first of all, we need to understand the bigger picture.
Mm-hmm.
The bigger picture is that God wanted to save the world. He wanted to save the world from the problem of sin.
Mm-hmm.
And God cannot save the whole world in one day. So he
Mm-hmm.
needs to choose some specific group of people, which is Israel, as a
Mm-hmm.
point of contact to save the world.
Mm-hmm.
So Christ's mission is bigger than Israel,
Right.
it's for the world. And
Right.
apart from that, because we even look during the crucifixion, we saw some event that happened there. We saw a black man helping with his cross and all that stuff.
Mm.
And I don't want to go much deep into it. If we see the Rastafarians also tracing their roots to David and all that stuff, I don't want to go deep into it. But if we look at Christianity, Christianity got to African even before Europe. Why am I saying that? In the book of Acts, in the book of Acts, in
Mm-hmm.
the book of Acts, we see the Ethiopian Enoch. The Ethiopian Enoch was a government official who was
Mm-hmm.
working with the Queen of Ethiopia. And during his journey to the Holy Land, he had an encounter with one of the
Mm-hmm.
apostles who baptized him. And then he was able to come with a lot of the books, a lot of the Torah to Africa.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then and then through research, scholars let us understand that some of the old Bibles can be found in Ethiopia, some of the old churches, old Orthodox churches. So Christianity began so many years ago,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes we need to try and be able to separate colonialism from, from Christianity, because the two doesn't match.
Mm-hmm.
For example, if you go to the castle, you will see the church on top of the slave castle. And then people were down in the dungeon who were being captured, but we need to be able to separate it. Character is different from worship. Even currently in the 21st century, we have people who say they know Christ, but they live like the world. They don't follow him.
Mm-hmm.
So we
Mm-hmm.
need to be able to separate character from the true believer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So Christianity is not a white man religion. No, Christianity had been in existence in Africa before the coming of the Europeans. And even before the coming of the Europeans, the African traditional religion, which was the prominent religion in Africa, they worship the supreme God. They worship the supreme God, but they worship him through mediums. like through the sea, through the waters, but they always pour libation to the supreme God, who is the God of gods. So the African knows God before the coming of the European, and Christianity was here before. Christianity got to African first before the coming of the Europeans.
I mean, like I said, that makes all the sense to me. I don't know why. Well, I do know why. The enemy is trying to use anything and everything to separate people from the gospel, right? And I love what you were saying earlier, which I totally agree with, that this message of Christ is for everybody. It's, that I feel like there's two common denominators for all humans in the Bible. That's why I always suggest that people read it for themselves. But I mean, that's a whole nother conversation. One of those things is that we all have sinned and fallen short. Like that should just even us across the board to say, you know what, man, I've sinned, my brother sinned, my sister sinned. Let me give grace and mercy to you because God has given grace and mercy to me. Like, I don't know why we don't do that, but that should show all of us that, you know what, we all are on the same playing field when it comes to this thing of sin or not being in right standing with God, right? And then the answer to that is obviously what Christ did, and he said that is for everybody too. It's not for just, like you said, just Israel. And maybe they did think that, maybe the Jews did think that when they, but I believe that Christ came and he, ultimately let everybody know that, okay, it's not just for y'all now. Y'all now understand that this is going to everybody. And so just a little bit of study has helped me to understand this, so I don't know what people are reading and why. It's like we keep having these same conversations over and over and over again, especially, African Americans and stuff. And don't get me wrong, I'm sure there's lots that, are deeply rooted in, Bible and I guess religious things of that nature. But I mean, well, this world is doing what it do and things of that nature. So, I mean, there's a lot, or the narrative gets pushed more of unbelief and things like that. I think because of those that are, in charge of media and stuff like that, but that's a whole another conversation. But it sounds like, so tell us more about the organization that you're a part of, because it sounds a little bit like you guys are media influence and things of that nature. So
Yes.
what's going on?
So let me share our social media handle real quick. So there's the Watchmen Charismatic Network on Facebook, Watchmen Charismatic Network on Instagram, Watchmen TV on YouTube. And our website is watchmenglobal.org. Watchmenglobal.org. So we have only two missions, to transform life and to advance the kingdom of God. So we have 4 sectors. The first sector have to do with the digital ministry. So the digital ministry help us to connect with our partners all over the world. Even tomorrow, we are having the ministry without boundary with 18 partners from Asia, India, America, Europe, Ghana, Bahamas. So we meet, we fellowship, we pray, and then we talk about the scriptures, and then we look at current issues that is going on as well. So that's about the Watchmen. We also have foundation. We are in partnership with the School for the Visual Impaired and the School for the Hearing Impaired. So we have some students that will support them, for the School for the Hearing Impaired and the Visual Impaired. And then we also have the missions and evangelism, that is the spreading of the gospel. And we have the hub of leadership, which is the leaders to leaders, where we train leaders across the globe. So we just ended our conference, I think, on the 25th of May. We have the next one in September.
Okay. Man, that sounds amazing. And honestly, I think that sounds a little bit like what we should expect in heaven, like multiple cultures, multiple, different types of people and things of that nature coming together for the one common denominator of Christ. And I mean, I know the church that I go to now, it really reflects that. And I think all churches should reflect that, but we know how it is. But still, it's just one of those things that we gotta, I know people say all the time, you will be surprised who made it in and who didn't when we get there and things of that nature when it talks about heaven. So, we'll see about all that, but it sounds like you guys are doing amazing, amazing work. And so I'm curious, so how did you get into ministry itself?
I would say, it was a divine calling because, starting life, I was born again at a very young age, and around the year 2012 to 2014, I had an encounter with the Lord who was calling me to do his work. During that time, I was into some different trade and I was working with companies and other stuff. So I wasn't really ready for that, But the Lord called me, the Lord called me into the ministry. I had an encounter of that. And I also have the desire. I began to grow into it, to study, to learn, and I began to have the desire for it. So I've been in ministry for long, I think from 2016, I've been serving as a youth pastor for the Cloud of Glory Ministries. And then currently I'm working with the Kingdom Life Chapel as a coordinator. So our headquarters is in London. We have a branch in Ghana. We have 5 branches in India. So I'm working with the Kingdom Life Chapel, and I'm also running the network as well as an organization. So I've been running the network for 3 years now. We got registered and we got licenses in Ghana 2021.
I was just gonna say, man, busy guy. Look, it's so funny you mentioned youth, because I'm the elementary coordinator at the church I go to. I'm not necessarily, I guess, a pastor or something like that, but at the same time, I'm a part of the youth ministry and whatnot. And so, isn't it a beautiful thing to just work with the youth, man? I know they are very inquisitive, like they want to know what's going on. Like we were talking to them, well, I've been talking to them more about like offering and stuff, because we started to be intentional about saying, okay, you guys can give too. And then now we're like, so let's help you understand why you're giving. Like, do you know why we're giving? Things like that. And we had those conversations. And I want to say last Sunday, one of the groups that I was with, they was asking all kinds of questions. They was like, so where does it go? And what is going on? And it's just, I feel like, yeah, the youth are very, very, those that are actually bringing their children to church and things of that nature, those particular kids, it seems like they're very hungry for God, as well as like learning why we do what we do and all these different type of things. So, how is it for you working with the youth over there in Ghana?
It's incredible, it's incredible. And it's unfortunate that most of our target group, they are older. Okay, like the conference we're doing tomorrow, I think I am the least of age. We have people up to 60 years, 50. And maybe the conference we just ended in May. I think the age that we had there was around from 25 to like 60. But the majority are around 35 to 60. So we don't really have youth much. We don't really have youth much. I don't know, but that is the audience God have given me. So we are now putting some strategy to put the youth. But we have like 20 consistent youth that I started with them from 2021, and they are still with me. Apart from that, we don't really have youth. All the people we deal with are, other people like senior ministers and all this. Yeah. So we are not looking for strategies to include more youth into our work.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I'll be praying for that for you guys, because again, we know that they are being so attacked right now, and things of that nature. The enemy's trying to comfort their minds and stuff, and they, at the end of the day, they are our future, as they say. So we got to do as much as we can, right, to at least encourage and inspire them, as well as I think just even out this playing field, right? Because again, if they looking on media and all these things, they see what the world got to offer. And I feel like that's one reason I started GSL, to say, you know what, hey, let's have some conversations that you might not hear everywhere or something like that, as believers and things of that nature, because they're going to find out about what the world has to say about it. I'm like, Lord, I don't even know why you did that, because we don't really do well with our free will. But I know that he
so that is great about the free will. Like I was just answer the same question recently, but also to touch base on the youth. That's why we developed the electronic media approach. So the digital ministry was strategized to the sense that we can reach the youth with content and other stuff. And also we do a lot of t-shirts, and then we do a lot of hangouts. Like recently we had a photo, just like a photo evangelism. So a lot of people were on the t-shirts. We had a play card, and then we went around like, are you saved? Is Jesus in your life? So we went just for pictures, and then we through that we were able to evangelize to other people. Sometimes we have breakfast meeting, just come and get some breakfast. Sometimes we have coffee meeting, maybe get a cup of tea, and then we can talk about Christ. And sometimes we go for prayer retreat. Sometimes we go for prayer retreats. And so we have so many means that we evangelize, and even the outreach, going to do donations and all this stuff. It's attract them. So they come, we preach for them, we pray with them, and then we include them. So there's a lot of ways that we do that. And we are looking at working on an app as well. an app that will help them with their daily devotions and all that.
Man, that is awesome. I think that is amazing. Now, I don't know, maybe the Lord put this on my spirit. Again, you don't have to answer if you don't want to. But I'm saying it sounds like you're very busy. So I don't know. Are you single out here? Because you look, I know as a wife, I mean, how is it, if you have a wife, it's like, I'm sure she's supporting everything you got going on. But if you don't have a wife and looking and stuff, that's a whole nother conversation. But I mean, I'm just curious, like, because you seem like you're a very busy gentleman.
Oh, yes, to be frank, I'm busy, and maybe from here I need to jump onto another live. From here I need to jump onto another live broadcast. So like that's how my life have been, like always working, always busy. I'm not married yet, Yeah.
Okay. Well, look, ladies, look, because y'all might be looking at this gentleman like maybe so, but look, you see all the work he doing, so he gonna need somebody. Look, help me, okay? Don't come playing with this gentleman. We know the Lord got you, though. We know the Lord got you. If that's your desire, and if that's what the Lord wants you to have, then we know He got you. But yeah, I was like, he can't be because he busy. He got a lot of stuff going on. I'm sorry, Mr. Eric. That's just one of my. I got a passion. I got a heart for single people. So I mean, I don't know. Is that something you desire? Marriage?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, hey, I'll desire. Look, that's the reason why I'm here, because I desired it so much that I was like, Lord, listen, where is He and what's going on and stuff like that. And I feel like God used the desires of my heart to draw me near to Him, to show me that, okay, that's good. That's what you want. I got you. But what you really, really looking for is that empty void that only I could feel. And as I started to learn that, then next thing I know, the blessings and stuff. Not to be like you were going through my journey, because I'm sure God has you on your own mission. But what I'm saying is, I understand the being single and wanting in marriage and things like that. And He honored, my prayers and things like that. Shout out to hubby, And look, he's the reason I'm here today, being able to have a conversation with you, because he supports. And that's the thing. You definitely want to get with the right person. I ain't got to tell you that. You already know. But I'm telling the other people that, maybe tuning in and things of that nature. So, okay, I just was curious that we can get back on your work. I don't want to embarrass you out here or something. Yes, sir. So, is there anything else you want to share with us, today? Like, I don't know, some words of wisdom or things that we should be looking for when it comes to, you and the work that you got going on?
All that I will share is that let us continue to be obedient to the will of the Father. Like recently, the Lord was dealing with me a lot about blueprint, which after this, I'm going to talk about it on my life, about blueprint. And we need to understand that all of us, God have a blueprint for us. He have the master plan, just like the builder. Before someone builds, you need to get a plan, you need to get a measurement. So before we'll be brought on this earth, God, who is the greater designer, the master designer, the master builder, He have a plan for us. It's very important that we continue to follow Him through alignment, through obedience, and through, commitment, being committed to His will, being obedient to His will. And as leaders, sometimes we are stray away by somebody's vision. It's good to support somebody's vision and all that stuff, but it's good to also follow what God have for you. What is God trying to say in this time? What is God trying to do with you in this season, in this time? And sometimes, it's a lot of plagiarism that's going on in the system, which is against the next level God wants to take us to. Because someone did it, I also want to do it. Because someone did it, it was successful. But if God asks you to do it, so a lot of us are stressed. A lot of us are burnt out. A lot of us are worried because God is not in where we are going. He didn't tell us to do what we are doing. So we need, so there's a blueprint. So in this season, I'm just calling upon people to bring back alignment, And yesterday, the Lord was dealing with me strongly that this is a season of His glory, And the Lord is going to do extra with us. The Lord is going to go extra miles with us if we give Him back His glory. If we give Him back His glory. So we saw about the account of Joseph with Pharaoh. When Pharaoh asked him, I hear you can interpret dream. He said, no, not me, but God can. So we always need to know and give God His glory, to know His place and all that stuff. So as kingdom leaders, let's continue building, but let's follow God's blueprint for us. And sometimes it's rough. Sometimes it's not smooth, but we need to keep following because He is the master planner and He is going to mold everything for our good. So I was reading the book of Jeremiah today about the prophet's encounter with the potter, and we saw that God said, "Look, you are like clay in my hand." So God can remold us, He can refix us, He can resize us, and He can use us for something better than our understanding. So we need to follow His blueprint.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Look, we could go on and on about that, brother. You brought that word just now. Like I'm definitely in agreement, and I've been kind of struggling a little bit because like um well, people come to me, right? And I know people like Miracle. Here you go talking to somebody else about this, but I don't know. Maybe you got some more wisdom to bestow on me. Like I feel like people come to me with issues, right? They come to me with their desires. They come to me with like things they want to do. Maybe because they see me the way that I guess live is like, hey man, I want to use all my gifts and talents, whatever the Lord put in me. So usually for the most part, what I say I'm gonna do, I do, and things of that nature. Like if it didn't happen, it wasn't because I didn't try, or something like that. So it just probably wasn't time and things like that. But then it gets difficult because it's like, okay, hey, I could share all day what the Lord did. I could share all day. This is what got me to this level, and a lot of it has to do with, again, what the Bible say, and being obedient and all the things you just shared, right? And unfortunately, I feel like either people don't want to receive that, you know what I'm saying? They don't want to think that that's all you got to do, or something like it got to be more than what you said. I'm like, no, this is what happened. This is the reason why I'm here today. And this is the reason why I'm doing things I'm doing. And because, at the more I started to be obedient to, again, the blueprint, right, that He had for me in my life, the more at peace I am, But for some reason, that's hard to receive, bro. Like, I don't know what it is, but I'm like, and then I'm like, well, I can't tell you nothing else. Like, what you want me to tell you, And so it gets kind of difficult. I'm like, Lord, I know I got that. You gave me the answer to give. I get an answer, and they don't want to receive the answer. So what you want me to do? And then I'm like, well, Lord, what you want me to do? Because I can't do nothing else about it. They got to do it themselves. Like, what I'm supposed to do now? So that's been a frustrating place for me, bro. And I don't think I've ever been able to explain it in the way just now. So do you have a word? Look, for me, for them, what the Lord telling you right now?
So that is the word I just shared. We need to follow. We need to keep following because sometimes obedience can open doors that 10 years of hard work will not open. Obedience can open doors that 10 years of prayers cannot open. We just need to obey.
Mm.
And we need to follow. Because through obedience, I was able to reach out to you. When I saw you, I was led to reach out, and now I'm here, and someone is going to be blessed through this broadcast. So we need to move with swiftness. We need to move with swiftness, and we need to always be ready to walk the talk. Always be ready, even if no one is going with us. Because I remember when the Lord called me and He led me to start the prayer network during the year 2020. Like there was nobody. So I just called some people. The Lord said I should do this. Are you ready? So I started alone by myself in a room. I'll be praying, interceding. And now the Lord have given us the nations. Like now we have partners all over the world and all these stuff. And people keep reaching out daily. We have over 100 partners all over the world. Like kingdom leaders that we work with. So it was just one obedience. And I said, okay, God, I will do. So, obedience can open doors that years of our life, years of our hard work will not open. Because God have greater plans for us, and we need to make sure that we find ourselves in His plan and keep following Him.
Well, bro, look, I guess I see why the enemy was trying to mess up our conversation earlier, because you probably just really set some folks free with what you done shared. I really do appreciate you coming by, and you're welcome back anytime. Like I said, feel free, share to people, how can they get in touch with you, the ministry, all the different things you got going on. Feel free to share whatever else you feel like the Lord wants you to share right now.
All right, I can't wait to. Yeah, I can't wait to be back. I know definitely going to bring me back.
Yeah, you definitely welcome to come back. So yeah,
all right.
tell people how they can
all right.
Yeah.
So thank you for joining today. My name is Pastor Eric Nartey from Ghana. I'm excited to be here. So you can reach me on WhatsApp +233 246 513927 +233 246 513927, and on Instagram Erickson MC, on Facebook either Eric Nartey or Erickson MC, And you can follow our network. There's a Leaders to Leaders on Facebook, Leaders to Leaders on LinkedIn, Leaders to Leaders. And with our network, you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Clubhouse, Watchmen Team, Watchmen Charismatic Network. Thank you. And our website is watchmenglobal.org.
That's good. That's good. It's so funny, and I'm gonna wrap this thing up. I know y'all. No, but it's so you said Watchmen, right? Watchmen Global. And I feel
Yes.
like, so you know how people talk so much about titles, right? They're like, oh, I'm the bishop, but I'm the da 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 da. And I'm like, I'm not none of that. Like, I ain't no I'm not none of that. Like, but the only thing that I've been able to receive is this title of Watchman. And the only reason why is because I feel like I've been seeing things and hearing things that nobody else do. And I'm like, y'all don't see this. You know what I mean? I'm like, y'all can see what happened, you know, and stuff like that. And I feel like on the one on the wall, like trying to tell people like what's going on. And so when I hear that name Watchman, I feel it resonates with me. I'm like, you know what? That's probably the only thing I could probably receive.
That's awesome. Let's go. The Watchman.
Like watch woman. Yeah, man. But that's a crazy place to be too, though, man. Because okay, last question. Do you feel the same? Like you see and hear things that only you see and hear, and then you try to share with people, especially other believers, and they don't see and
Yes,
hear.
absolutely.
And you're
Yes,
like,
absolutely.
how can you not see and hear it?
Absolutely, you know. Mhm.
Look, you got to come back and talk about the little being a Watchman. Look, might as well just go ahead and set it up on the calendar. Come on back. But all right, I won't be long your time. Thank you so much for visiting us, Pastor Eric.
You're so welcome.
Wishing I would have a one night affair.
Thank you so much for watching the GSL Talk Show, and thank you to Pastor Eric for joining us tonight. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and check out his many, many endeavors. Have a good night.